You know he swings it away. End of another over, another maiden. Another maiden.
तुम अपनी पसंद का खाना
Off the hook. Slightly different fields than the West Indies employed. More bounce, tall bowlers, Cuffy and Dillon. Tallish men too, and Nera and Srinath, but no short leg. No man under the helmet. That's short leg. Just wanting to employ the 3 slips in a gully. And just more of the orthodox 6-3 offside field. I'm just expecting things, in terms of this pitch, Ravi, to get a bit better, to gather a bit more pace, and the ball to get through. And that should suit the West Indies. They like to play their shots, the ball to come on.
It's a good line. It's a good length as well. There's no doubt that once these two batsmen spend some time at the crease, they will hit through the line because they like to get onto that front foot, hit on the up. But they've got to be watchful early on. Got to get used to the pace and the bounce of the track.
That's why it's important too. Chris Gale, who fields in the slips, often said that if you're in that slip position, first slip, you get a good feel for the pace as much as the keeper. And that's why it's ideal if you can have you're either one of your opening batters or both opening batters and number 3 in the slip cordon. You get to see how the pace of the pitch is playing and adjust accordingly. Change in the field. Man at short extra cover. The skipper's gone in there himself. This is a nice channel. And one of the key ingredients too to opening the bowling with a new ball is you must try and make the opposition opening batters play. And this is a good leave because there and thereabouts, and the angle going across the left-handers from Srinath, and that's a good leave because that is the channel. Javagal would love to perhaps bowl 6 in a row there, and you give yourself a chance to bring the slips into play.
He's blasted that. It's gone like a rocket to the boundary. He's a tall man. He likes to get a good stride forward. And on that last occasion, he's done exactly that.
Elegant shot. But from Javagal Srinath's perspective, I don't mind that. He's had to reach a bit for that, Chris Gale. Just a fraction full. If he gets that length just a little bit back, Srinath, and get that little bit extra bounce with the shiny new ball, and it's possible. That's why he's such a good new ball bowler, Javagal Srinath, and especially the left-handers. He tends to go across and get that outside edge happening.
Another no ball. And he has the ability, Srinath, to get the ball to go from around middle and leg stump of a left-hander across him. As a left-hander, you've got to play those deliveries. And it's his accuracy early on that troubles even good left-handed batsmen. It's the lengthy balls. Doesn't give them too much room outside the off-stump. And like Danny Morrison said, he's thereabouts all the time. And there again is an example of that.
Well, precisely. Now, any youngsters at home watching this, about the balance and the rhythm. He's a man in the twilight of his career. He's played 67 test matches, but therein lies where this game of cricket, where you get older, you get wiser, you don't have to blast people out. You bowl good lines, good channels, and you see that around the world. Glenn McGrath has just taken over 400 test wickets, and just there and thereabouts, use the new ball and be probing away around off stump.
with 6 for no loss. Six for no loss, West Indies. Ashish Nehra continuing.
Here is the intriguing little battle just prior to lunch. Just over half an hour to go till the scheduled break. And you've got two left-hand opening batters for the West Indies versus a left-hand, right-hand opening new ball combination. I keep going on about this balance. That's why I'll get off the fence right away in terms of that World Cup just round the corner in South Africa. I think India are a real good bet to go all the way and do very well in that tournament. Balance of their batting lineup, their bowling. They complement each other. You've got Anil Kumble, and whether Harbhajan Singh even plays in the one days in terms of over there, different surfaces all over the Republic. And the spinners could be useful. And certainly these two left-armers, Nehra and Khan, when they're on form, get the ball to swing early on. And then we're going about that powerful batting lineup. People like Sehwag, Tendulkar, Dravid, Ganguly, Lakshman, and even Patif Patel getting into the act. He looks fairly accomplished. So I really like the look of this Indian lineup in terms of the World Cup. Not that far away.
That's one aspect of the cricket that has improved a lot as far as the Indians are concerned. The effort, the commitment is there in the field, and even the captain has worked really hard. West Indies, the biggest problem for them is no one's really gone on to make the big score in the series.
Very glaring stat that, isn't it, Ravi? In the best right-hand column, no one has got to three figures. And you see they've got in at times 54, 78, 61. Gale 42. He'll be disappointed. And the averages reflect that. Hooper. So that's very disappointing for the skipper, who is renowned as a good player of spin bowling. I just think he's felt the weight on his shoulders. No Lara here. And so Chanderpaul, Hooper and Sarwan, the key factors in that batting lineup, and they really haven't fired.
Did well there, Chris Gale, to get his wrists out of the way. 7 for no loss.
Whatever you
7 for no loss. Srinath continuing. Again, a single of a no ball. 2 runs added to the score. To tell you more in the commentary box, Sanjay Manjrekar, and with him, Maninder Singh.
Thank you, Ravi. Again, a slow start for the West Indians, but what's important, again, overstepping there, Srinath. What's important for West Indies is not repeat the mistakes that the Indians made when they were batting. All Indian batsmen getting a good start except Dravid, but none able to convert them into big scores. Sanjay Bangar finished up being the highest scorer on 77. The West Indians have to learn from that. Once they get themselves in, it's a pitch which will allow most batsmen to settle in. Once they've done that, it's important that they carry the inning through.
Yes, they'll have to concentrate harder, the West Indian batsmen. They've done well in the previous three-day game that they played, the first-class game. And as Sanjay said, they shouldn't repeat the mistakes, make the mistakes that the Indians did. And I would like to add to that, they shouldn't repeat the mistakes that they made in the first two test matches as well.
That's the West Indian 11 playing in the third test match. Chris Gayle got a few runs in the side game against Railways. In fact, got a big 100, and that is what West Indies need. A big 100 from one of their frontline batsmen. It's not happened so far in the series. You can see the averages of their top batsmen. 19 for Gayle, Hines with 30, and the highest average is Chanderpaul, 40. And when you compare this with the averages and the runs, aggregate runs scored by the Indians, chalk and cheese. In fact, Parthiv Patel and Javagal Srinath also carrying with them a healthy average. This goes to show where the Indians have dominated.
Yes, there was a brilliant partnership between Srinath and Parthiv Patel. Now this young lad has really impressed. Technically very sound when keeping. And when he goes on to bat, his head is cool all the time. He bats according to the situation. When it is required to stay at the wicket, we saw that in England in one of the test matches when he stayed at the wicket for around 2 hours for his 18 runs. And then in this morning when the runs were needed to be scored quickly, and when Srinath joined him, he joined him, scored runs quickly.
Just the one failure on his test debut in the first inning, got a duck at Trent Bridge. After that, every time he's contributed. Not big scores today, getting the highest test score for himself. 47 is what he got today. And talking about his keeping, before coming into this test match, I think he was fortunate to spend some time with Bob Taylor, who made a visit to India, to Mumbai at the CCI. And Parthiv Patel was quick to travel to Mumbai and get some important tips from Bob Taylor.
Seems to be a good student as well, Sanjay, because I was talking to Balwinder Singh Sandhu, who was looking after the National Cricket Academy at one stage. This is, I'm talking about 2 years ago, and he had told me that you'll see this young lad coming up. He's a good wicket keeper with a very good temperament, and he's proved him right.
And this is what the West Indies need to do. Show good temperament as well. Anything that's loose has to be punished. Can't be just block and block. Well done on that occasion by Wavell Hines.
That's a very good shot. He batted well in the second innings at Chennai. Played it with a very straight bat, right from the meat of the blade.
Got a 50 in the last match against Railways. The side game that the West Indians played coming into the third test match. So both the openers have a bit of form coming into this test match. Another no ball, the second one of this over for Srinath.
There's nothing in the pitch for the faster bowler, so Srinath trying a little bit extra on this occasion, overstepping clearly. Srinath knows that he's going to bowl around 5 or 6 overs, so he's trying to give in his best, but there's no help at all from the surface.
Very soon we'll see the spinners in action, and we'll get our first real sign of what kind of spin there is in this pitch. Few more runs fact, a single. Sanjay Banga, the fielder, 16 for no wicket. Five overs gone, 16 on the board. Ashish Nehra over the wicket to the left-hander. The pitch looks a batting beauty at the moment. Not much of lateral movement also with the new ball for the faster bowlers. Right conditions for the West Indian batsmen to find some form in this series. They won't get a better opportunity.
Yes, especially before the 7 one-day internationals that they have to play. They've lost the test series, but they can make it up by winning the one-day series. There's Harbhajan Singh warming up. He's had a very good series. Bowled brilliantly against Australia on this very ground. He got a hat-trick as well.
Good delivery. Now this is a gift that Ashish Nehra has. He gets the ball to seam around. Even in conditions which are like this, coming back fair distance, more so after the ball past the stumps. Coming into the team in place of Zahir Khan, who also has been rested or would be rested for the one-days that will follow. That's the news we have, not confirmed for the moment. Ashish Nehra.
The Indians doing a lot of planning these days. Zahir Khan had a slight injury behind his knee, so he has been rested so that he can be fully fit on the tour of New Zealand and for the World Cup.
Going for the big shot. Now this is something that Carl Hooper wouldn't like too much when he's watching from the dressing room. No need to play these extravagant shots at this stage.
That's absolutely silly. This is a lovely track to bat on. You just don't need to do that. Just wait for the poor deliveries and score runs of them. What the West Indies have done, they've gone into a shell. So they've left a few poor deliveries alone. And this is what happens when you leave the poor deliveries alone. You try and score runs of the good ones and throw away your wicket.
Because Wavell Hines has done that before in the series. Played some bold shots. But that was fine. That was pitched further up. Looked a less risky shot.
Ashish Nehra, not much for him from this surface. That was an over-pitch delivery, trying to pitch it up and swing the ball. But Ashish Nehra must be wondering what a track to get a chance on.
(16 for no wicket).
Download.
It was just a matter of time before The Turbinator was on. The last time he bowled here, he picked up 13 wickets in the test match, and single-handedly, with some help from VVS Lakshman and Dravid, won the game for India. And as Maninder Singh pointed out earlier, also picked up a hat-trick, the first Indian bowler to do so in test matches. And that was the form that he had versus Australia, and the form against West Indies in this series also not too bad. Man of the match from the last game, Harbhajan Singh, will get his first ball here in Kolkata. Virendra Sehwag just getting his gear in order. He's going to take up his position at forward short leg. And these days, quite an elaborate preparation before you get into that very dangerous position. The shin guards come into place on both legs. Then the helmet, and of course the abdominal guard. Harbhajan Singh. Should be dead ball. That's how you signal a dead ball.
Harbhajan Singh has started with just a slip and a short leg. Maybe the captain wants him to settle himself first, get his line and length correct, and then get in the silly point. You can see just a slip, a short leg. No pressure for the batsman.
He's gone for the sweep. Ashish Nehra, the fielder in the deep. There's plenty of encouragement for all Indian players once you are there at the Eden Gardens, out there in the middle. Anything you do will be applauded. A simple take, throw back to the wicketkeeper, and you get a huge applause for that.
Genuine cricket lovers here in Kolkata. And they're behind their team, who's doing very well. The Indians have been playing brilliant cricket for the past 8 to 10 months.
Just padding up to that one. Maninder Singh mentioned the field that there's no silly point in position, but I somehow like this field better. There's no silly point, as Maninder Singh mentioned. They've got a short extra cover here and 3 fielders in the cover area behind him. And what that will encourage Harbhajan Singh to do is get slower in the air, get the batsman to drive. And I've always liked to see Harbhajan Singh do that. Be slower in the air, get the batsman to drive. It's a good field placement purely because there's nothing much in the pitch now to get the silly point in position. But that will sooner than later happen. It's not a bad start to get him to bowl slower.
Well, at the moment he's bowling flat, trying to get his line and length correct. I think he's got it. Sanjay, and if I was the bowler, I would like a silly point there in front of the batsman's eyes to put pressure on him, if nothing else.
Bowling. 17 for no wicket. .341 runs behind. Excellent recovery by the Indians this morning. Resuming from 275 for 6, ended up getting 358 with some solid knocks from Parthiv Patel and Javagal Srinath. So spin in tandem very early in the innings. He's had a good series along with Harbhajan Singh. Spin twins making all the damage here in this series.
That's a rare sight, Sanjay. It doesn't happen too often, especially when Saurav is the captain. He likes to have his faster bowlers from one end and the spinners from the other. But this pitch, there's nothing for the faster bowlers in this surface. So he's realized it pretty quickly. And must be wondering if he had a third spinner in the side.
Also the fact that lunch is just about 10 minutes away. Driven well into the gap. Good, authentic cover drive.
This is a surface, again, you'll have to bowl a little slower to get some purchase. That was an over-pitch delivery. Thank you very much, says Chris Gayle, right from the meat of the blade. He's had a big 100 in a 3-day game against Railways, so the confidence level must be high. That was a googly. Saw a bit of that game against the Railways at Pune, Sanjay, and that pitch also looked something like this. It was dead. Good for batting. Nothing for the bowlers in that surface.
Maybe a little more bounce than Kolkata, but quite right. Same appearance. They also have white soil there, that Nehru Stadium in Pune. And nothing off the pitch for the faster bowlers. Quite similar, the pitch here in Kolkata as to Pune, so that will help the West Indians. Anil Kumble, not often do you see him without a silly point. In fact, identical field for both Harbhajan Singh and Anil Kumble. Got a short extra cover in VVS Lakshman. Same was the case with Harbhajan Singh. Forward short leg and a slip. May have got a bit of bat on that one. Now leg by signal. 22 for no wicket. Parthiv Patel, John Wright mentioned he's the find for Indian cricket. Apart from batting well, he also has some good wicket-keeping technique.
Yes, Sanjay, the fingertips pointing down all the time, which helps him collect the ball smoothly. The eyes on the ball all the time. Look at the fingers pointing towards the ground, which is very important to collect the ball smoothly. Technically very sound.
What's more striking about Parthiv Patel, it seems like he's a natural wicketkeeper, not somebody who's been forced into the job. Just perhaps taken up that job, being fascinated by it. It's been one of the problems for Indian cricket. There have been a lot of jobs taken up by Indian cricketer. It seems like as if they were thrust on them. Couldn't find a genuine opener for a long time. They're also struggling for a high quality wicket keeper.
Wow. That's it, bud. Watch it, bud.
Not anymore.
Come on, lad. Let's back him up, George.
Yes, Sanjay, he's of the highest quality. Parthiv Patel. Biggest asset that he has is he's got a brilliant temperament. And a fielder has been moved into silly point now.
Just get the feeling that it was maybe the captain's idea to start off with a short extra cover, but Harbhajan Singh, you know him better than me, likes this field better, isn't it? Silly point, forward short leg slipped.
I think any spinner would, Sanjay, because those are the places you're going to get the batsman out or put any kind of pressure on the batsman. Trying to sweep this time outside the leg stump. But I think Saurav Ganguly, as I've been saying, there is a bit of unorthodoxy about his captaincy, but he backs it up pretty well. Now this is his idea. You first get settled, then I'll give you your field. And he's been successful. He's led the team well, got them united, has been winning tournaments, has got this team into a winning habit, so you can't complain.
And choose a polo. Another insight into the Indian captain. Well, they're absolutely excited around the bat. But the man who needs to be excited is not at all. Ashoka De Silva, cool as a cucumber, gives his verdict, the shake of his head.
That's a good delivery from Harbhajan. I tell you, Sanjay, 9 out of 10 times, if it hits the pad first, very rarely gets the glove or the bat, but it's not very clear here. But Ashoka De Silva was very sure.
Wow.
Maiden for Harbhajan Singh, 22 for no wicket.
तुम अपनी पसंद का
9 out of 10 times if the ball hits the pad first, finds it very difficult to hit the bat or the glove. And I think that is what the umpires have in mind. When the ball hits the pad first, they're ready to say not out.
Not out!
Because they realize the bowler is going to put pressure on them. So there are certain needs of umpires where he's got to build himself. And when you are doing international cricket, it's not very easy. Loads of cameras on you. Slightest of mistake and it can be caught. We've seen a few mistakes from these two umpires in this series, but it's not very easy to umpire in so many games. You're bound to make mistakes. So I think the ICC will have to look into this, increase that number from 8.
It's a point you made yesterday also after the match. A lot more stress. Traveling around the globe. Test matches, 5 days on the trot. And you have a couple of days break. Get into another test match. Once you finish the series, I'm not sure how much time they have to take a holiday, perhaps relax a bit, get recharged until the next series comes up. It's a valid point you make. They increase the pool and give them a bit of relief. 23 for no wicket. Slow and steady. That's what you can call this West Indian start. 10 overs, 23 put together. Not too many mishaps. The odd appeal. Now that's a dangerous leave. I think what Ashoka De Silva was looking at was whether the ball was going on to hit the stumps.
Maybe he was looking whether the ball is pitched in line. It's pitched outside the leg stump. That's a good decision. It's very difficult to get an LBW when you're bowling over the wicket to the left-hander. I think he's got to change his angle. He's got to come round the wicket, curve the ball into the left-hander. Because there's no turn, no help for the spinners. So you've got to beat the batsman with variety.
Continuing to bowl over the wicket, trying to get it right up behind maybe the legs of the batsman. We are in the third test match here in Kolkata, which finishes on the 3rd, and then the one-day razzmatazz starts. 6th of November, the first one-day international. 7 one-day matches in this series, and the last one, the 7th one-day international, there at the bottom. Vijayawada is the new venue.
Catch! Well done, Srivas.
Srinath, the fielder at mid-off. Visakhapatnam, Vizag, was the original venue for the 7th One-Day International, but now that has been shifted to Vijayawada. And in all those 7 One-Day International, this man will be officiating. So that further accentuates your point, Maninder Singh.
That's too much cricket, I think, for the umpires. I think the ICC has to look into this. He's standing in his 20th Test match. If he starts moving out of the house so often, I think the wives will be running away from them.
It's a good profession for bachelors.
I remember Imran Khan telling me he doesn't want to get married till he stops playing cricket. Because once he's married, he wants to give time to his family.
That's it, that's it. That's it, bud, that's it. Shabash. Top bowling, bud, shabash. Come on, let's come on, shabash, bud. Top bowling, bud.
A lot of changes taking place in the field. Player was moved from the leg side onto the offside before this ball. Now the captain comes at gully. And the batsman goes for the sweep. Brings up the end of the over and also time to take lunch on day 2. West Indies in reply to India's first innings total of 358 23 for no loss. Lunch on day 2. Enjoy your lunch is what the giant screen says, so it's time for everybody to enjoy lunch, and the West Indians will certainly enjoy theirs, but they haven't lost a wicket, and an opening start when you're chasing a reasonable total is very, very important. So Gale and Wavell Hines doing the right thing without any damage to West Indies. They've taken the score to 23, 5 extras in that 23. So all the 4 frontline bowlers used by Saurav Ganguly in this brief session. 3 overs for Srinath Nehra and Harbhajan Singh, and Anil Kumble bowling a couple of overs. So India in their first inning getting 358 with Sanjay Banga, the top scorer. Dylan 3 from West Indies doing the damage, and West Indies in reply are 23 for no wicket and are 335 runs behind.
We'll leave you some interesting highlights in that first session of play. It all started happening in the first over. Catch put down, then Harbhajan was dismissed. He's off stung, going for a spin. And then after that, plenty of entertainment from Patel and Srinath. Some good positive strikes down the ground. Srinath unorthodox in his methods, but very effective. He took to Cuffy, headed for 3 boundaries in 1 over, and then followed it up with a big 6. Patel looked good too. Nice and compact. And his partnership with Srinath really helped India get a very respectable score. Both batsmen missed their half centuries. And in the end, India dismissed for 358. So 23 for no loss, the West Indies. Ashish Nehra will start the proceedings after lunch. And it's good afternoon, Arun.
Good afternoon, Ravi. What a terrific session for the Indians. Nobody expected them to reach anywhere close to the 350 mark, especially when they lost Harbhajan early in the morning. But the West Indies fighting back. Wonderful conditions for cricket. Afternoon sun out, the wicket baked hard. Perfect batting conditions. It's now up to the West Indian batsmen to really get settled in there. This is a wicket that improves with each passing day. That used to be the character. It's a new wicket now. But we have the same expectations from it. If you can get settled in here, it doesn't have bounce, it doesn't have pace. If you can get settled, it's very difficult to dislodge a settled batsman. However, the Indians, all of them getting a start and not going on to capitalize on it. The West Indies will be hoping that they're getting the best use of the wicket the second and the third day. that they can put up something good to challenge this Indian team.
So Nehra's on his way. Gale on strike.
Sometimes when you pitch short, it almost doesn't reach the batsman, and he has such a lot of time to play his shots. It's a matter of getting used to, but once you get used to it, this is an absolute batting paradise. Just nothing in it for the faster bowlers. They've got to get everything in the air, maybe with some subtle variations in pace. Just keep pegging away around the off stump or just outside it, hoping that some batsman would chase something wider than normal.
Well, good opportunity here for both these batsmen to get a big score. They've got off to a start, but they've got to start all over again. This is a new session.
Two slips and a gully and a short cover. That's indicative of the fact that they're expecting the ball to come very slow on the bat, and a drive may be slightly uppish.
That's a good stop. Virender Sehwag is close in there on the offside. It's not a normal cover position. It's more like a short extra cover because Wavell Hines likes to hit on the up, and at times the ball does go in the air in that direction.
Ashish Nehra will obviously try and keep the ball as long in the air as possible to get as much swing movement in the air. He's got two slips and a gully and this man Virender Sehwag, very exciting indeed. It's also a key position at this stage, especially if you're trying to pitch the ball up.
He's got that away fine. And he's got it off the mat, just drifting onto leg stump Nehra, and fine leg was a little too wide.
He's crossed with himself, the intention being that he's got to be around the off stump. Even the fine leg is so wide, almost a square leg position. And then you drift down the leg side and it's easy pickings for the batsman. That's frustration, yes. Hines moves on to 12, 36 deliveries, 2 boundaries. 49 minutes, so he should be getting pretty well set, used to the conditions. The West Indies need a good start. Nehra very quickly realizing how difficult these conditions are for the medium pacers. Not wanting to give too many runs away, Saurav Ganguly, just the 2 slips and a gully.
.29 for no loss. .29 for no loss. So it's going to be a combination of pace and spin. Harbhajan Singh will share the attack with Ashish Nehra. The last time he played on this ground, he got 13 wickets in the game against the Australians.
His strategy is going to be just the same. Try and flight it up, just the short leg and slip. He's going to bowl from over the wicket, try and cramp both these left-handers on or around that leg stump. It's worked so far in the series. Both very, very flamboyant stroke players. Not very comfortable with the ball coming into them from the leg stump. Prone to play against the break, trying to wrestle loose of the shackles that are being imposed, and often have given their wickets away. This is a continuance of exactly that strategy.
Come on, lads, come on, Shabash.
Okay, we are taking a look at the onside field. This player, a slightly deepish mid-wicket, Sachin Tendulkar. I don't think he's really required. You want to show some gaps there. You want him to play against the turn. Let him have a look at that gap there on the onside. Play, keep a wide-ish mid on, but leave that mid-wicket area free. Maybe even put some more pressure by bringing him on to silly point, making it difficult for him to go on the front foot with ease.
I think the difference between the tracks in Chennai and Mumbai and this one in Kolkata is the pace of the pitch. You already have seen Harbhajan Singh bowling 3.5 overs. He's got turn, but it's been very slow, so it gives the batsman the time to adjust. It was not the case in Mumbai or Chennai, where there was bounce and quick turn. Now that is the big difference. 29 for no loss.
Stable beginning, the West Indies.
An error continuing. Chris Gayle, his eyes lit up when he saw the width. Just trying to hit it a little too hard. As a result, the bottom hand coming into play, the bat face closing. What happens then is your foot really doesn't go as far forward as you would like.
Fortunate to get away with that one. Could have played on quite easily. But this is probably the intention of the Indian strategy, to pitch it up outside that off stump with a packed offside field. Maybe get that edge.
That's firmly struck. And an excellent stop. He's done very well there, Sourav Ganguly.
That's also very poor running. A wonderful shot, played very firmly past the bowler. And it's almost as though he expected that to reach the fence. He was just standing there. Enough opportunity to get a single. So Sourav Ganguly has just saved 4 complete runs. Nehra still not being able to get that ball to move away from the left-handers. It's still a newish hard ball. All of them slanting into the left-hander. From this over the wicket position, if he can get the ball to move away towards the slip, then he would be a lot more effective.
Ashish Nehra still not quite at his best. A slippery customer. Just get the feeling he's the kind of bowler who needs to play game after game to get his rhythm going. He's just short of match practice. He's been in and out of the team, more or less a regular in the one-day setup. But then when it comes to test matches now with Srinath back, he has to wait in the wings.
Yes, Ravi, it's never easy. You're not match fit. Mentally, you're not quite there. It does take its toll on your self-belief. Nothing like playing regularly and performing. I still get the impression that he's not bowling at full tilt. He's not got that rhythm complete. These are his career statistics. Test career, 11 games, 31 wickets, 4 for 72 is best. He's played 20 one-day games for 22 wickets, 3 for 30 is best. So he's fairly experienced. He's also toured a lot. He's sat out quite a bit.
.29 for no loss. See the amount of time the batsman has to literally read the ball after it's pitched. It wasn't all that short, that last delivery, just the pace of the track. That will make batting a lot easier than it was in Chennai and Mumbai, at least for the West Indians.
Yes, indeed. And as long as you don't poke at the deliveries coming at you, if you just wait for them to come to you, onto your bat, play as late as possible, you're okay. And as you get settled, you realize that it's pretty easy on the back foot. Once you get onto that back foot, it's almost certain that you'll be able to get a single. And on surfaces such as these, Ravi, it's basically the battle begins in earnest once the ball gets a little older, when it's about 30 odd overs old. That's when some reverse swing begins to happen. The spinners also get a little bit of bite, turn, especially the over spinners like Harbhajan, who has this wonderful top spin delivery. So does Anil Kumble. The ball gets a little lighter, gets roughed up on one side. That's when it has that bounce, sudden bounce sometimes. This is where he's troubled them, both Gale and Hines. They're still sort of tentative around this leg stump, whether to pad it or play at it. Never quite in control here. Just not used to using their pads or extending that front foot planted forward. They're playing half cock, waiting for the ball to do everything.
And it's a good field he's set now. I heard Arun Lal mentioning in the previous over that he'll be better off getting rid of the mid-wicket. He's done exactly that. Now he's left that big gap open for Chris Gale to see. And if he's got to hit in that direction, he's got to hit against the turn. So there's the challenge. That's close. Always dangerous to leave the delivery without offering a shot. Just get the feeling Umpire De Silva reckoning that ball would have missed off stump.
Difficult to get an LBW from this angle because it invariably pitches outside the leg stump, and according to rules, any ball pitching outside the leg stump, you just cannot be out.
Yes, clearly pitched outside leg, would have missed off. 30 for no loss.
तुम अपनी पसंद का खाना
15 overs have been bowled, 30 for no loss. Two comfortable runs for Wavell Hines. Nera not quite getting the swing he's looking for. He has the ability to get reverse swing, but you need the ball to get a little older for that.
This is what he's attempting to do, to slant the ball like that. What is happening is that the balls are going straight through at times for some easy pickings on the onside.
That's hit very hard. No need to run for that. There was width on offer, and Hines has cashed in.
Wonderful shot. If you pitch short on a slow wicket and there's width, there's really no reason why a batsman won't get 4. But that was fiercely struck. So very little margin of error there on a wicket such as this. It's got to get it right on the spot. You can't be short, you can't be over full. Not easy conditions.
Yes, and I think one of the reasons why Ashish Nehra doesn't get the ball to really leave the left-hander is something to do with his action at the time of delivery. Doesn't really get across with that right shoulder of his. He's got to get a lot more side on to get it to go. He hustles into the crease, but you've got to watch him at the time of delivery now. Watch that right arm and shoulder. It has to come across a lot more if he's got to get the ball to swing away from the left hand. A little open-chested at the time of delivery. That's when he can get nicely side on. That's when he'll get the ball to swing away from the left-hander and consistently into the right-hander. That is a genuine wicket-taking delivery. But again, it's a lack of match practice. The more you bowl, the better you feel with your action.